So, it's almost 2024 and I've been using the Sony A7 III for about a month now, and some of you might be wondering, is it still worth it even though it's an almost 6-year-old body? The answer is yes. Whoa. Don't go clicking off the video yet. The answer is yes in certain cases and depending on use. Stick around to the end to find out what those are. First off, I'm going to talk about my experiences with the camera, and then I'll let you know who this camera is for in 2023 and going into 2024, and certain cases where it might still make sense for you. Like I said, I've been using this camera for about a month now, and there's a lot that I love and a few things that I don't. Straight off the bat, the build quality feels really good and solid. It has a magnesium alloy body, so it's fairly durable. Though I wouldn't go tossing your camera around to find out exactly how durable. I mean, you can do whatever you want to yours, but I'm not doing it to mine, sorry. The grip feels decent and fits in my hand fairly well and comfortably, though it is a bit on the smaller side. There's only 3 things about the design. They're not really deal breakers, they're more so just personal gripes of mine, and you might feel the same way. The SD card slot has a door that clicks shut automatically when you close it, but the battery compartment doesn't. You have to manually unlock the door and remember to relock it when you're putting in or taking out a battery every single time. Again, not a deal breaker, but like, why? You did that on one compartment, but not the other? I mean, come on. The second thing is the aperture and shutter speed dials feel a bit gummy. Bit like a toy, a bit cheap. This doesn't affect the performance or the operation of the camera at all, but it does cheapen the experience a bit, especially on a $2,500 camera body. I wish they were a bit firmer and had a bit more of a satisfying rotation. And finally, the viewfinder is fairly low resolution and isn't very pleasing to look through in my opinion. It still serves its purpose and it's workable, but I do wish it was a little higher resolution. It's not as noticeable when you're shooting indoors, but when you're shooting outdoors during the daytime, it does become more apparent. Now, to the positives. This camera takes fantastic photos that are both crisp and detailed, and to me, the overall experience of taking a photo on this camera is incredibly satisfying. I might sound a bit weird saying this, but I really enjoy the shutter sound that this camera makes. It makes you feel like you just snapped a banger, even if it was just an out of focus picture of your dog. No judgments there. The 24 megapixel sensor is more than enough to take tack sharp images that capture all the detail. Unless you're going to be blowing up your image huge or pixel peeping, come on, we all do it. All us photographers. What, just me? Pfft. Whatever. You're not really going to see the difference between a higher resolution sensor and the Sony A7 IIIs. If you're new to Sony like I am, it can take a bit of time to get used to the menu system and customization options that it provides. But now that I've had a bit of time with it, I'm starting to become more familiar with it and really enjoy the options that it provides. I have certain functions mapped to the custom buttons on my camera that make using it way easier and more efficient, allowing me to dial in my shot, whether that be photo or video, without having to fumble my way through the menu system trying to turn on or off a function that I use on a regular basis. Let's talk video. The Sony A7 III shoots 4K video at 24 frames per second uncropped, but the sensor actually captures 6K footage and condenses it down to 4K for an even sharper final image. The quality of the 4K is actually really good, and you can also shoot in S-Log2 and 3. Unfortunately, it only captures 8-bit color instead of 10-bit color like some of the more video-centric cameras or more expensive bodies, which means you can't really take full advantage of S-Log3 even though the camera can shoot in it, and you're a little more limited in color grading as well as dynamic range. Though being able to shoot in log format regardless provides way more color grading flexibility and dynamic range than cameras that can't. Overall, I'm very pleased with the 4K image quality and video capabilities that this camera has. Especially as somebody who's relatively new to videography and photography, this camera has opened up many more possibilities and tools that I can learn and explore and relay to you guys. The final thing I want to touch on is battery life. The A7 III takes Sony's Z-series batteries, which provide adequate battery life for video. I've never timed the battery life, so I could be wrong here, but I'd warrant to guess that I get about an hour and a half to 2 hours of 4K video on a full charge. So if you have a long day of filming or have multiple paid jobs in the same day, I'd recommend getting at least one extra battery just to have as a backup in case. For photography, the battery life is great. I can usually get a full day of shooting out of it. According to the CIPA ratings, you can get about 710 shots on the LCD screen or 610 using the EVF. But as I'm sure most other photographers would agree, it's best to have more than you need, so picking up an extra battery would not be a bad idea. Though I've been impressed by how long it lasts on my shoots. Really quick, as a small channel, every subscriber, like, and comment means a lot to me and helps me push my content out there. So if you're enjoying the video so far, please take a second to subscribe and smash that like button. So you're probably wondering at this point, okay Nate, but is this camera for me? Should I pick it up? Who's it for? Well, in 2023, going into 2024, this camera is still a great option for people like us who are passionate about photography and videography and want to take their work to the next level, but don't quite have the budget for, say, the A7R IV or the A7R V. It's a great general purpose camera if you're a hybrid shooter that does a mixture of both photography and videography. It's good at both photo and video, but it doesn't lean so far one way or the other that it isolates itself. I'd say this camera is a great option if you're an aspiring professional but doing some paid work, as the features this camera has is more than good enough to get you going for the foreseeable future until your skills and clientele level up to the point where an upgrade is a must to achieve the desired result. The A7 III is also a fantastic option if you're a passionate hobbyist who's looking to make professional looking content without spending $3,000 or more on a body. To sum it all up, the A7 III is a very capable camera that I believe is still relevant and a great option for a lot of the creatives out there. Though it might be a little limited by today's standards, it still has plenty of professional features that'll allow you to create amazing looking content without completely breaking the bank. The Sony A7 III takes amazing photos and videos, but a good camera is nothing without good lighting. So if you're looking to take incredible photos and videos, be sure to check out my unboxing and review of the SmallRig 120D Cob light right here.